do you want to have more confidence in the moment? And you really want to push yourself into something maybe uncomfortable that's a little bit fearful. Well, today I'm going to talk about this. And if you stay until the end, I have an extra point for you then as well. So many times I've tried to figure it out in my head. How am I going to get more confident in this area? How am I going to grow? I can remember being in so many meetings in my life and just wanting to ask a question or just wanting to do something. I'm like, okay, maybe when I get to this stage, or maybe when I get in that position, or maybe when this changes, then I'll be more confident to speak out loud. It's a lie. It's a lie I was telling myself. And if you're telling yourself this, you're lying to yourself as well. There's never going to be a point where you're going to be ready to face the uncomfortable. You just got to do it. Right. I know this sounds very simplistic, and we're going to go through some steps on how you can do this today. Yet people don't do the simple stuff because it's often fearful, and fear gets the better of us. So we make all sorts of excuses, even if we don't realize they are at the time. I've certainly been there, right? When we try to figure out a strategy in our head without moving ourselves or getting ourselves into a better state, it's always going to be a challenge. Instead, get yourself into a better state so you're more confident, you're in a better place. And then your story and strategy will change. I learned this from Tony Robbins. It's a really, really key one. Now ask yourself this: how has it helped you by being in this right, okay, I'll speak to that person when I get to this. Oh, how do I do this, this, and this? And then you get overwhelmed, you start overthinking. Maybe it's in your career, or maybe it's in your business. You're like, oh, right, okay, right. I figure out, okay, or socially, okay. So if maybe I get to a point, maybe if I read a few more books, maybe if I do this, maybe I'll take another course. Yeah, and then I'll be a bit more That's not. It'll just go on and on and on and on. And this is why some people, I know I was guilty of it at the start, spend a lot on their credit card and personal growth and don't have as many results because they don't take the action they need to, because the fear gets in the way, because they haven't changed their state in order to take more action. So let's go into some ways that you can start taking more action. And again, you're never going to be in this place where you're 100% confident to do it until you do it. Right. And then you teach your brain it's not as unsafe as you thought. I'm going to go through some points, though, that you can start doing. Okay. The first one is create a power move. Think of a time when you were super confident or things were really flowing for you. And then think of that and then get yourself in a position of maximum confidence. Now, I'll give you a hint. You may be watching me on YouTube, or you're probably listening to me on my podcast. What I'm doing right now is doing a body language demonstration. So I'm going to explain what I'm doing because I know I get more listeners than I do watchers. So if you're got your shoulders slouched, you're looking down at the floor, you are never going to feel as more confident as if you're stood up. Right, I'm sat down right now because I had to, because when I started standing up, my microphone got difficult. Anyway, you didn't need to know that. So when you're standing, when you're upright with that sitting or standing, and you got a smile on your face, you are going to feel a lot more confident than if you're slouching, you're looking miserable, you're not feeling good. Right? Create yourself a power move. Just the key default one is the Wonder Woman pose. The hand on your hips and then looking up and then smiling. It's a real power pose. Find yourself a power move that you can do every single day and do it a lot throughout the day, because that's going to instill confidence whilst you think of a time when you were super, super confident, because then that will anchor in a feeling of confidence. And when you're in a fearful situation, pull out that move. It can even be a little fist pump if you want to make it more subtle. Just go yes. And then get yourself into a power state move by doing that. Okay, the second tip I've got is feel bad in advance. Yes, I said that correctly, and then interrupt it. Feel bad in advance and then interrupt it. Say every time you, and this was for me, but I didn't know the power of what I'm sharing with you right now back then. say like you want to ask a question, you really want to speak up, just like say one comment in front of a large group of people. And you know when you're about to do that, you get all this cortisol floods your body, the stress hormone, all these nerves, these fears come in, and you go, no, people will look at me if I speak. Oh, what are they thinking of me? What if I say something that's stupid? Well, right now I say a lot of stupid things and I don't care. And they're not stupid, they're usually quite intelligent, to be fair. But like sometimes I'm not afraid to say something that may make me look stupid sometimes, right? So think of that moment and then interrupt it by doing the power move I mentioned. And one really good technique is just shouting out, stop, and then doing your power move. Now, what you don't have to do this in the moment by saying stop out loud for everyone. I want you to practice it in private. So what you're first going to do is create the power move. Like it could be a fist pump. Let's say it's that, or the Wonder Woman one, or Wonder Man one, right? Or Wonder Person one as well. Okay, so you do like the power move. You get that installed. You think of something that makes you powerful. The second thing is you're going to feel bad. And then you're going to say stop or something that breaks it. Shouting out stop and moving position will interrupt your bad thinking, and then do the power move. And do that every single day. Do it every morning so you're prepared. And then just keep repeating that process. Okay? Keep doing that every single day, because when you get into the moment, you can just say stop quietly to yourself, do the power thing, and then take the action. And then the third thing is just keep repeating actions again and again and again, because that's the only way you're going to get more confidence. So you get yourself into a better state from what I've talked about, and then you take the action, and then celebrate when you repeatedly keep taking action. And don't worry about the outcome, because when you praise yourself for taking action, no matter what, it tells your nervous system to do more of it. Okay, right. My final bonus point for you as well is this one. Keep track of negative thoughts or feelings that come up. So maybe there's a certain thought, certain reaction, you've got something, and just write it down I write it down in Google Keep on my Google Drive. And then just keep writing down, becoming aware of things that might make me feel a little bit fearful, not as good, right? And then what I do every single week is dive a little bit more into them and understand them, because that creates more self-awareness. And therefore, I know those are the things I've got to interrupt the pattern in advance when they come up. Okay, so that's what I've got for you today. I appreciate you for being here. You're improving other people's lives for being the best you. And remember, you're in control of your own self-esteem and confidence.